I'm sure that you have seen these fish symbols on the back of cars and probably even within your churches because they're very ancient as far as a symbol for Jesus. The early Christians didn't necessarily use the cross to begin with. That became much more standard many years later. But they would use the fish symbol to designate that they were followers of Jesus. And there was a purpose for this, because the word in Greek for fish is ichthus. Yeah, don't ask me to spell it. Ichthus. And they had made up what is called an acronym for each letter of the word ichthus. The first letter stood for Jesus. Then the second letter stood for God's Son. And then it was, the final one was Savior. So Jesus Christ, God's Son, Savior. And every time they would make a symbol of the fish, that would be a confession of their faith in Jesus Christ, God's Son, their Savior. I can just imagine what it was like back then whenever they would make this sign in the sand to each other to see if someone else understood that, to see if they too were a Christian. Like we would make the sign of the cross like such. To them, they would make the sign of the fish. And it bore their great confession in the one who had died for them, who had saved them, and who had also made them, reminding them of their calling, fishers of men, just like it was with Peter, James, John, and the other disciples. I will make you fishers of men, he said. And so this was not only a confession of their faith, but it was also a testimony of their purpose that God had given them to go out into the world to be fishers of men. My friends, are you ichthusing pretty well? Because that's what we're called to do as people who believe in Jesus Christ, God's Son, our Savior, to be about ichthusing, fishing for other people, to bring them in to the great net of Christ faith. Blessings on your ichthusing.